All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you again for joining us for the BHHS powered by Bold Trail Essentials Overview. As I was saying in the preview prior to this class, the goal today is going to be to kind of get you started into what we call BHHS Connect or Bold Trail. Bold Trail and KV Core are one and the same. They happen to just change their name within the last couple of weeks, believe it or not. So when you hear us talk about BHHS Connect or KV Core or Bold Trail, these are all one in the same. Just as a matter of housekeeping for today, if you guys don't mind, if you wouldn't mind turning off your cameras and muting, and that way we'll get a nice clean recording that we can put in the library. We will be recording this so you can go back and take a look at this at any time. This, of course, will be available on our training YouTube channel and also available in RWT Connect when we're finished today. If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand or go ahead and put it into chat. There's a lot to cover today. Hopefully we can cover all the little individual sections. But again, the goal today is to really just kind of give you an overview and get you started into BHHS Connect. I do want to start with this explanation though, which is what is BHHS Connect, which is powered by KV Core, which is actually now called Bold Trail. I know this is kind of a funny way to do this, but yes, they recently rebranded KV Core to a product called Bold Trail. Unfortunately, we are right in the middle of that transition. Again, it just happened within the last week or so. So when you see things that are coming out from BHHS or coming out from us, or if you're looking at some of the materials, you may see some interchangeable names until everything gets updated. So BHHS is actually their version of KV Core, which again is now called Bold Trail. If you are looking at all of the different KV Core versions and you're looking at everything available from KV Core, do know that BHHS Connect is the BHHS version of, again, KV Core or Bold Trail. We're going to use those terms interchangeably today just to get us started. We affectionately call this KV Core Lite. It just means that BHHS has their own version, which is provided to everyone in the global network of KV Core / Bold Trail. So some things that we're going to talk about today are available in what they call the marketplace, which is an add-on, and some things actually have to be adjusted other places. So BHHS has done a good job of providing some materials and education and things like that for BHHS Connect. So just know that some of the things are a little bit different than what you would find on the big KV Core Bold Trail platform, and some things will need to be adjusted in other places. And we'll go over all those little changes here as we go. This is a really odd slide, but it should help you understand the relationship between BHHS Connect and RWT Connect and where it fits all together. This is one of the questions that probably comes up the most, and it says, are we replacing everything we have with BHHS Connect, which is, of course, KV Core Bold Trail? And the answer to that is absolutely not. However, one of the reasons we delayed this launch was to make sure that they could all talk to each other. So just to lay it out, just to kind of give you an overview of where we are, rwtconnect.com is the RW Town product. It is based off a company called Reliance. You've heard us talk about that before. They're the ones who host our corporate website. They're also the ones who host our intranet. They're also the ones who provide us with all of our websites, the site builder websites, for those of you who have those. And of course, as you know, you log into rwtconnect.com in order to access all of our SSOs or single sign-ons. So those are all those individual one-touch buttons where you can get off to Paradigm or Byside.loop, Express Docs. I've just put a couple of examples down there so that you have that understanding of where all that comes from. We also do have a CRM in RWT Connect. That CRM is that client relationship manager. You'll sometimes hear it called a customer relationship manager as well. That's where we can put all those clients and contacts into the system. We, of course, have action plans and emails and things like that that can go out of RWT Connect. Those contacts in RWT Connect are also used for other things. So when you load those contacts into RWT Connect, they can be used in some of our other programs. They can connect to other things. And that's one of the reasons why we've always encouraged you to put your contacts into RWT Connect, because we know that it's really kind of a central hub for all of our local, regional, and our global products. RWT Connect does talk to BHHS Resource Center, which is, of course, the global internet for BHHS. So BHHS Resource Center is the global internet that's available to every member of the global BHHS network. So everybody in the world who belongs to BHHS has access to BHHS Resource Center. Our contacts, and that's represented up here at the top, go from RWT Connect into something called Sage CRM. I know you guys have heard us talk about Sage CRM in the past. Sage CRM is basically the central repository for BHHS. So it acts kind of like what RWT Connect does for us. Things go into Sage CRM, so contacts go into Sage CRM, and then from Sage CRM, they're pushed out to the BHHS global network. So they're pushed out to things like marketing resource, which is where you can send additional e-cards. They're pushed out to, of course, things like BHHS Connect, and they're also pushed out to other tools that you might use like Chalk, and they all talk to each other. One of the things that we were waiting for in order to make sure that you had access correctly to BHHS Connect, KV Core Bold Trail, was to make sure that all three of these things were actually talking to each other. One of the things that we've known from the dawn of time is that the best CRM for you to use is the one you'll actually use. So some agents are, of course, going to be more comfortable using the CRM and RWT Connect. Some are really comfortable just using the e-card system coming out of Marketing Resource, and that's the amount of communication that they want. Some people actually use Sage CRM. It's a very small percentage for us. And then, of course, we know that some agents are looking forward to using BHHS Connect as well. What we wanted to make sure was that everything talked to each other. If you made a change in RWT Connect, we wanted to make sure that that flowed into Sage, which again then flowed back out into BHHS Connect, flowed out into Marketing Resource, flowed out into things like Chalk. If you made a change in Marketing Resource to an email, for example, we wanted to make sure that that went back into Sage, which of course is called Reflex. It allows it to be flexible with other partners. And that again would go into BHHS Connect and into RWT Connect as well. We wanted to make sure that no matter what you were using, all of the contacts would talk to each other and stay the same. That way you did not have to go through the process of uploading and downloading and checking and making sure that all the different pieces were where they needed to go. We also know from historically launching new products that a lot of people will try things out. They'll really kind of dig in, see if it's what they want to do. And sometimes they stick with it, and this is going to be their ultimate thing. Some people like to use it casually, maybe only use a piece or two of something new. And some people say, you know, this isn't for me. And what we really wanted was a way to make sure that no matter what you did in any of these systems, that it would go back into the original system that you were using or would talk to other systems. So this whole thing kind of is all interconnected. It's a really interesting system the way this works, but it allows us to also launch products locally that are only provided to you because you are with RW Town, and those are represented on things on the left. And of course, we want to make sure that anytime something is launched at the global network side, that your contacts that might be locally also have access to those. So that's what this screen represents. And I wanted to just kind of touch on how this relationship works and to make sure that you understood that there was communication between all of the different products and all of the different systems. So let's kind of get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, and let's get right into BHHS Connect. This is a slide right now. We're going to go into the live one in just a second, but I wanted you to know that it is now live on your system. You can get to BHHS Connect right now if you want to, and you'll do that by going to the Resource Center. You can log into Resource Center by going to RWT Connect and clicking that BHHS Resource button that's right there. Some of you may also log into Resource Center directly. That's fine. Either way, you'll get to this screen. And you'll notice you have a new button on the right-hand side that says BHHS Connect powered by Bold Trail. So just as a reminder, as we're going through here, some of the stuff still says KV Core, some of it says Bold Trail, and some of it says BHHS Connect, but it's all one and the same. So that's the button you're going to click to go ahead and get on into the system. So if you'll give me just a second, we'll go ahead and take a look at BHHS Connect, and I'll show you a couple of nuances and how you can get started. All right, so I am logged in today as one of our agents in the Williamsburg office who has allowed me to use their account today so that we can go ahead and show it to you live and what it would look like directly from an agent account. So I happen to be on RWT Connect. So again, remember, this is our local intranet. This is where everything goes that comes from RW Town itself, and this is where all of our single sign-ons are housed. And if I go ahead and scroll on down, you'll notice we have that BHHS resource button right there. If you go ahead and click that, it will open up BHHS Resource Center. Remember, BHHS Resource is the global intranet for all BHHS network members. And there's that button for BHHS Connect powered by Bold Trail. If you go ahead and click that, it is going to open up a BHHS Connect for us. And I've already started that today. There we go. And this is what it'll look like the very first time you log in. So this is the main dashboard. And there's going to be a couple of things that we're going to want to do to even just get us started. And that's what we're going to look at today. So just as a kind of a goal and kind of an outline for where we're going to go, I'm going to show you how you can set up your profile today and some of the more important settings that you need in order to get started and kind of where some of those are located because they're a little bit different than the main KV Core BH or Bold Trail training. Some of the information that's in here is actually going to come directly from BHHS because remember, we said that they all talk to each other. Part of the thing that talks to each other, not just your context, but also your profile. And then I'm going to kind of give you the tour of this dashboard and kind of show you where everything is. After this, you should be able to take the Agent Quick Start training, which will take you through all the little individual pieces of BHHS Connect. And that way you can see whether it is going to work for you and also how you can work it. So it's going to show you all the little individual pieces. That self-guided Agent Quick Start should take about an hour and a half. And the nice thing is it's broken up into really small sections. So you can always take it and go back or stop and come back to it and things like that. That'll give you time to go ahead and get through it all. All right, so let's get started today. Again, I'm going to have to switch back and forth between screens a little bit here. So if you get lost or I need to slow down, just let me know, raise your hand or put it into chat and we can go over it again. But I'll try to let you know when I'm switching screens just so that you can see what's going on here. So again, I'm in BHHS Connect, so I've gone ahead and clicked that button from BHHS Resource. And I'm going to go ahead and just click the photo in the upper right-hand corner. And I want you to first and foremost go to something called My Profile right here. I'm going to let that load here real quick. This profile is actually going to be what powers a lot of BHHS Connect. So when you have things coming out of the system, how things are sent to you, things like your e-signature and your contacts and other information and things like that are all based out of this profile. It is really, really easy to edit. We do have an edit profile button right here. You're going to notice that throughout the whole system, there's going to be little basically pencils everywhere, and that means that you can edit something. Before I click that edit profile button, I just want to give you a quick overview of what is going to be editable in here. So we have, of course, our photo and name. We have different IDs. We have different contact information, social media, designations, about me. There's a signature file in here. And then you're also going to be able to put in some of the things like credentials, background, education, experience, achievements, and community involvement. Let me go ahead and click that edit profile because I want you to notice one of the first things that's a little nuanced about BHHS Connect's version of KV Core Bold Trail. And that is you'll notice that some of these fields are grayed out. It means that you can't change it. Now, if you went through the KV Core Bold Trail training that's available kind of on the internet out there, just in the world, it would tell you to click on profile and go ahead and fill all this information in. But remember, I said this is the BHHS version of KV Core Bold Trail. So some of this information is going to come directly from your BHHS profile. So let's head back really quickly to BHHS Resource Center. So I just clicked the tab, I've gone back to BHHS Resource Center, and we actually need to fill in some of the information here on our profile. So let's go through that today. Remember I said that BHHS actually talks to lots of different systems? This is a great time to remind you that this profile in BHHS Resource Center also helps power a bunch of the other tools in BHHS. So even though we're doing this for BHHS Connect / KV Core Bold Trail, Just remember that going through and auditing this and filling this out and making sure that you have all of your information in there is really important to things like marketing resource and social media resource, even Sage if you're using it, even Chalk Digital, things like that. It uses bits and pieces from all of that in order to help fuel some of the other tools that you have. So just as a reminder, we're doing this for this class today, but it would be a great exercise for you to go ahead and make sure that this is filled out and make sure that you have everything you can possibly get into this profile because it's used by other things. All right, so just like BHHS Connect, I'm going up here to the top where our photo is and our name, and I'm going to go ahead and click that and go to my profile. We're going to give this just a second to load. And it's going to go ahead and bring up our profile. Now we can go ahead and change a lot of this information in here. Now, that said, if anything is grayed out in this section for under your user details and things like that, it's because it has to be changed at what we call the roster management level, which means if something isn't right or it's grayed out or you can't change it or you're not able to get that information in there, you can certainly talk to your manager. They have access to help you do that. We can also do that in web support as well. You can just go ahead and send a quick email over to websupport@rwtown.com and we'll help you get that information updated. So again, I'm in BHHS Resource in the Resource Center. And I want you to notice all these user details. A lot of these fields are going to look really familiar to what we just saw. And we are going to go ahead and be able to edit these. So if you'll notice that we have, of course, our name and our office, and we have a bunch of information in here. And if we continue to scroll down, you'll notice that we are able to change. There's those things like that social media buttons and those social media links and things like that that haven't been filled out yet. This information, once we fill it out in here, will make it over to BHHS Connect. So anytime, I'm going to pop over to BHHS Connect again one more time. Anytime you see one of these grayed out fields, it means that this information has to be filled out at the BHHS Resource Center profile, and that's how this information will go ahead and change. So again, let me just pop back over to that user profile in BHHS Resource. Sorry to keep clicking tabs back and forth, but I wanted you to see how that works. Let's go ahead and take a look at this user detail and go ahead and make an edit here real quick. If I go ahead and click this edit button on BHHS Resource, it's going to just bring up a little window here and it's going to allow me to go ahead and change that information. Be very careful changing some of this information. For example, if you change this is displayed to no, it would mean that you would be cut off from the BHHS roster and you would actually not show on the BHHS website in general. So there's a reason why some of these settings are in here. But of course, we do have our normal stuff in here. This admin access section, this occasionally gets checked and you do not need to check this. I know that it's kind of a big warning button. This admin access says that you allow people who have the level of access that things like your marketing and web support team have to have access to your profile. The nice thing is that we don't need to have this from you, so you can go ahead and leave this unchecked. This is for companies that don't have a product like RWT Connect that allow us to be able to help you. It'll actually show if you're part of a team or not, but this is where you can also change some of your information. So remember we saw that cell phone and some of those public phones on the BHHS Connect side? That's going to be something like your consumer phone. You'll want to also double check your consumer email as well. These are the emails and the phone numbers that will be used in that profile on BHHS Connect. You can go ahead and double check some of these while you're here as well. You can certainly go ahead and change some of this information. If you have not had an opportunity to fill out your languages yet, please go ahead and do this. Remember, I said it was used by other things. The nice thing is this is also used for some of our relocation profile information. There's that About Me section. This will allow you to put in that bio. So for those of you who do have a site builder website and you've already filled out your bio, you can certainly go ahead and just copy and paste that into here. We did a great bio class not that long ago that showed a bunch of different chat GPT and other AI engine prompts in order to be able to build a great bio. If you want to go ahead and take a look at that, it is available for you in our training library on RWT Connect. You can go ahead and build out a great profile for yourself and put it in here. If you belong to any additional memberships, go ahead and pop those in there as well. You'll see a bunch of different national memberships in here. whether you have any military service or not. We have so many military members among our ranks here, and a lot of people have not filled out what their military service was. Again, we use this for different things, and this also shows up on your BHHS national and global profile. Some of this other information you can certainly fill out here if it pertains to you. Be careful with your lead notification preferences. We have these set for a reason. We don't use the round robin system like a lot of other companies do. And if you start playing with some of these settings, even some of your own leads that come in could get a little weird. So just go ahead and leave these wide open. This is where you can add those social media URLs. So for example, if you needed to go ahead and add your Facebook URL, it's going to make sure that you want to put your https:// you're going to want the whole address in here. So facebook.com/ Mary Agent Realtor, whatever it happens to be. And you can certainly see all the different social media URLs that you can put in here. And again, once you go ahead and save this information will go over to your BHHS Connect profile and allow you to fill all that in. It'll automatically fill all that information in for you. So we have Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat. And of course, if anything becomes more mainstream, they usually add it in here for us. If you've made any changes, go ahead and click Save. And it will go ahead and let you know that that information was saved. And it will head on out into the system and be able to populate all the different tools that use that information. So it will send over individual links to things like marketing resource. It'll help you be able to connect a little easier in Sochi. It's going to be used for some of the stuff in Chalk. It's going to be used in other places as well. So this user profile comes in handy. All right. Once we go ahead and fill out that information, I'm going to go ahead and come back to BHHS Connect on here. There we go. That information will populate over here if you've made any individual changes. So we didn't make any this time, but just know that it will populate over here as well. The nice thing about this is it will populate, but it can also take a little bit of time to do. So if you've made any changes to this, it's not going to be instantaneous. We do know that's usually been a couple of hours change to make sure that all this information gets over here. If for whatever reason it doesn't get over here, just let us know over at web support, and we can also help you on that as well.
Hey, Kristen.
Yes.
Anne had her hand up.
Sure. Anne, do you have a question? Nope. I think she's popped her hand down. All right, we'll keep on. And if there's a question, just go ahead and either throw it into chat or go ahead and put your hand up again, and we can interrupt on there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and click. I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down so you can see some of the other places that you can go ahead and change in here that are not on the BHHS resource section. Okay, so some of these are going to be things like that language is spoken or position, any of your designations and things like that. So for example, if you happen to be an ABR, you can certainly go ahead and do a search for that. And if an ABR is in here, it will go ahead and allow you to add your designations to your profile. Remember, we're back here at BHHS Connect. You can certainly go ahead and select your licenses if you need to. There's that about section in here as well. So if you've created that bio, and again, if it's in your RWT Connect site builder website and you want to go ahead and copy and paste it, you certainly can. That About Me section does allow you to have some formatting in here. So for those of you who like to use the paragraph and bullet form of that, you can certainly do that. You can also bold things and italicize things. You can add some individual links if you'd like to. This comes in handy, especially if you have, maybe you want to pop somebody off into a tool or a PDF that you created or something like that. You can certainly do that. You can even add pictures to the About Me as well. Be careful with this, just to make sure that you don't upload something that's a huge file size. It just slows down your individual profile on BHHS Connect. You do have the ability to, of course, change to a couple of different fonts in here. These are going to be pretty set in stone. Notice that there are no really fancy script fonts, and that's because script fonts just don't show on every device and every machine. So those are going to be system standard fonts that'll show on any device. You can go ahead and add a signature in here as well. So the nice thing about this signature file is for those of you who have used the email signature tool that's available on RWT Connect, where you can just log in using your credentials for Microsoft, and you know that you can copy and paste that signature. You can copy and paste it right into here. It does work. So just know that your signature does work in here. If you'd like to build it individually, you can certainly do that as well. So you can go ahead and just add a little paragraph or even your photo if you want to. Again, you can change your fonts, you can change your information. This signature is what will go out on the bottom of any of the action plans or emails and things like that. There's going to be a couple of options here in your profile. You can include the signature on any outgoing mail. You'll certainly want to go ahead and turn that on. You do have the ability to show which either the company or the office that you belong to in your signature. This does come in handy, especially if you are assigned to a particular office, but you might work out of another one. This goes for somebody like new homes or even property management, where you may just want to go ahead and have the RW Town Realty on there. And remember, I said that there were a couple of other things that you could fill in here. So things like credentials, background, education, experience. These are kind of those individual bio pieces. If you wanted to, you could certainly add those, any achievements and community involvement. Once you've added anything or made any changes and things like that, you'll want to go ahead and click Save. There we go. And it'll go ahead and save that information. I just want to make a really quick note. This photo right here and this information with your name and sales associate, this is all coming from BHHS resource. So if any of this information is incorrect, so if this photo is old, it means that you have an old photo in BHHS resource, and it will need to be updated there so that it pops over here. You'll also notice that you have agent MLS IDs. These agent MLS IDs are coming directly, again, from BHHS resource. If you're missing an ID for whatever reason, so in this particular case, I like to show this one because this agent actually belongs to 3 different MLSs. This agent is in Rayne, this agent is in Williamsburg, and this agent is also in Central Virginia, so Richmond. You'll notice that there's 3 different IDs in here. If you're missing an ID for whatever reason, just go ahead and let us know. We can certainly go ahead and update that in your profile. Don't worry about any of this other information, especially the external vendor ID. Usually that has something to do with BHHS and making those connections happen. There's a couple of other things you're going to want to note in this profile on here. You have a couple of other things on this right-hand side, including some settings, whether you want to go ahead and send an email or change your password. There is an app available for BHHS Connect powered by Bold Trail. This is a mobile compatible tool, so you don't have to use the app if you don't want to, but in order to use the app, you would need a password. So while most of us are going to log in using that RWT Connect to BHHS resource to BHHS Connect version here through the single sign-on, if you wanted to use the app for whatever reason, you would have to change and set a password. And the 2 pieces of information you'll need to know are going to be your email address, which is going to be in your profile, and of course that password in order to be able to use that. So just so you know that you may have to go ahead and add that password in here if you want to use the app. You'll notice that this More Actions button is in the training for KV Core Bold Trail as a whole, but it's actually grayed out and does not work for us. And that's because this More Actions section here is not something that's provided by the BHHS Connection version of this. So you can ignore that button as well. You have a couple of other settings here, your daily call task creation. You'll notice as we kind of get into the system, that you do have the ability to add tasks, and part of the action plans or the smart campaigns that are available in the system actually have tasks assigned to them. So things like, hey, don't forget to call that new prospect, or hey, it's been 30 days since closing, don't forget to check on your clients. You can actually set your settings for this to see when you want those daily call task creations to come in. So if you do want to go ahead and edit these, we've pre-populated these with kind of the most important ones in here, that you want to have your statuses for prospects, new leads, and active leads, have your tasks. Do you want to create a call task daily? Yes. Do you want to create tasks on the weekends? No. Some of you may reset that to yes. How many calls do you want to make? So for those of you who are not quite ready to make 10 calls a day, you could certainly set this to 5. and what time to send you that email that says, hey, you need to make these calls. Those should be in there as well. Now, for those of you who love to make calls and spend your whole morning doing it, because I know we have a bunch of agents who love it, you can also set this a little higher too. If you want to make 20 phone calls a day, that's totally fine. But you can certainly edit any of these settings on here as well. You can see how easy that is. I just click on that edit button, make any changes, and hit save changes on here as well. You'll notice you've already been assigned an office. That's coming directly from BHHS resource. I'm going to mention this just because we are in the midst of a bunch of different office changes. Do note that if you are making an office change, we will make sure that that gets changed in all of our different products as well. But I know some of you are in the midst of making some office moves. If you're a member of a team, that information will show here as well. And then you also have some appointment availability options here. By default, we set this just 24 hours. This basically just says, I'm available to receive these leads and appointments at any time. If you want to set some professional boundaries, you are certainly welcome to do that. So if you are not available between certain times, you can certainly go ahead and edit this information. Also, the nice thing is if you are on vacation, you can also set that in here as well. So if you know that you're going to be out of town for maybe 3 days and completely unreachable, it actually will not send you kind of any of those appointment availability pieces, and it'll leave those appointment availability options off for that time. So you can actually put a little kind of vacation appointment availability option in here as well. And again, if you've made any changes to this, all of these little individual sections over here have those save buttons. It'll go ahead and save as soon as you've made any changes on here. All right, so just wanted to recap real quick just to make sure that we understand the connection here. The BHHS Connect profile is really controlled by your profile in Resource Center. You can get to both profiles by going to your photo in the upper right-hand corner and then clicking and going to My Profile. It's the same in BHHS Connect. If you're in BHHS Connect and anything is automatic, like your photo, your name, some of this other information, or a field is grayed out, it means that it's controlled. Again, I'm sorry to click back and forth here. It's controlled by the profile in Resource Center. So the first thing that you're going to want to do with anything having to do with BHHS Connect, KV Core Bold Trail, is to make sure that your profile in Resource Center is correct. And that way all the information in BHHS Connect is correct as well. All right. And I see Rawson's been helping out with a bunch of the different questions in chat. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. And we're going to kind of take a look at the different pieces of this dashboard to get you started. The nice thing about this dashboard is that if you just click this logo in the upper left-hand corner, it says BHHS Connect powered by Bold Trail, or if you go ahead and just click dashboard over here, it will go ahead and take you right into the main dashboard, which is what we saw when we logged on. So this logo right here, or this button called dashboard right here, will take you directly to the same spot, which is your main dashboard. And this is what you'll see when you log on. Before we get started on all these little different buttons and some of the things that they do and where you can find things, I did want to point out first and foremost this blue bubble down here in the lower right-hand corner. You've seen this everywhere on BHHS Resource Center. This actually connects you over to the BHHS Resource Center helpline. So this is the customer service team over at BHHS. Oh, and they're online this morning. Those are actual people. They do change based on who's online. Just so you know that the customer success team over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services is really who oversees all of the individual tools on BHHS Resource Center. So you'll see this blue bubble everywhere. So if you're logged into BHHS Resource or Chalk, you're logged into Marketing Resource or Sage, or now BHHS Connect / KV Core Bold Trail, you'll see that blue bubble. If you get lost or you're not sure how to do something or something's not working the way that you think it should be working, this is your first line of defense. The customer success team here has been completely trained on the BHHS Connect version of KV Core Bold Trail, and they are the ones who've been in the system for a couple of years now and have been helping agents navigate their way through the system. The nice thing is you have some options based on how you like to talk to people. So the customer success team is available in this chat window. So notice you can put your information in here. It's just going to ask you for first name, last name, email, whatever your company name or ID is. If you don't know your ID, you can certainly put RW Town. They'll know exactly who you are. And then you can put the information on here as well. If you like to talk to somebody on the phone, you can certainly call them. There's the phone number right there. Or if you want to be able to email them, because maybe you have some screenshots or you have some questions or something like that, you can certainly do that as well. Just want to let you know that the chat does support images as well. So if you need to take a quick screenshot or you have a a snip and sketch or something like that, you can certainly copy and paste it or attach it into the text as well on here. So this is live. They will answer and they will answer your questions on here, but this is your first line of defense for the BHHS Connect product. They're wonderful to work with. We actually work with them on the corporate level as well whenever we're having issues. And we kind of get to know the people behind the computer screens, and they've been very helpful to us and very helpful to our agents over the years. Do want you to notice real quick before I leave this section here, the hours. They are open from Pacific time. So they do open fairly early on our end and stay open pretty late. So if you happen to be working all day and you don't get to sit down to BHHS Connect until the evening, they are certainly available to help you well into the evening hours for us. So just note that those are the times that they're available. There we go. So yeah, keep an eye out for that blue bubble. It's everywhere in BHHS resource. They're a great team behind the screen there. All right, let's take a look at the actual dashboard. So first and foremost, I want to take a look at this top bar here because this is actually going to stay constant throughout the whole system. This search bar here is pretty dynamic. Normally, the search bar would be just used for something like contacts, like find Mr. Smith, whatever it happens to be. The nice thing about this search bar is that it actually ties into all the different tools as well. So we're going to get into some of these tools, but I want to just give you an example here. But if I click that toolbar, it's going to actually say, okay, here's some really commonly used products. Here's some commonly used things that you can do. So add a contact, you can log a call, you can send an email, you can add a task, you can edit a campaign, or you can go back to RWT Connect if you need to. You can actually use this to search for somebody. So I happen to be in this system. So if I go ahead and start typing my name and I need to go ahead and find me, I've gone ahead and added myself as an example in Joe's account here. You can certainly use this to find a contact. It's also going to try to find listings, for example. If you keep scrolling down, it's going to show all the different results that are in here. If you need to find a tool, you can certainly do that as well. So maybe we need to find smart campaigns. We don't remember where they are in the system. If I just start typing smart, there's that smart campaigns. And it's going to give me a couple of different options. That marketing tab is like kind of an active thing that you can do, or it's going to give you some marketplace items here. And these are, of course, add-ons or upgrades that you can make to the system. So if I wanted to get to smart campaigns, which is their version of a drip campaign or an action plan, depending on what other system you use, that's how you can get to that tool really easily. So this dashboard search bar does a lot more than just searching for contacts. You can use it to try to find all sorts of different things. So if you remember hearing about a particular tool, or again, if you just want to go ahead and get to a contact, you can use first name, last name, you can use email address, you can use whatever you want to. There we go. You can even pop in a listing ID if you want to, or an address in here as well. It all works. And it'll try to figure out what you're asking for in the search bar. It's a smart search bar. It's a really nice feature to BHHS Connect. And you can certainly go ahead and use that. It's going to give you little prompts about what you can do in here. I'm going to come back to add contact in just a second, but I wanted to just show you what the rest of this bar does. We do have a shop marketplace, and I want to go ahead and introduce this now because you'll see it in some of our other buttons as well. So BHHS Connect is built on the feature of you use it the way you want to use it, and you can upgrade for other features. So they have something called the marketplace, which allows you to upgrade and add on individual items. So things like property boost, there's going to be some things in here for customized smart campaigns, some different social stuff, things like that, some premium video, voicemail drop. You'll see some of these tools available to you throughout the system. And it doesn't mean that it's available in the system, but it might be available in Marketplace. So for example, on one of our sections here, it's going to ask if you want to send a voicemail drop to a contact. That's not automatically turned on because not everybody is going to use it, but it is available in Marketplace if it's something that you want to go ahead and add on to your system. So there's lots of different things to look at in here. If you are navigating through the system and something either isn't turned on or it's going to be an upgrade or an add-on, and they are going to have all the individual costs in here as well, but this is kind of the place that it's going to take you is over to Marketplace. So it is up here as well. And again, anytime you have any questions about any of these marketplace products or anything else, go ahead and just use that blue chat bubble right there. And again, you can go ahead and click that, and you can certainly go ahead and ask any questions on there. So they'll either give you the answer or they can point you in the right direction. Carrying on over up here at the top, you do have the ability to go ahead and connect either your Google or Outlook account if you want to on here. Remember, I said that the system does allow for calls and tasking. That's what this little checkbox is right up here. It's just letting us know that we have some calls to make and we have some tasks to do on here. And it's going to show us that we have some past due ones. We have some things that are going to be due today, tomorrow, or upcoming. You can certainly use these little plus signs to just open that up and close it. Things like that. So that's that little task button. This is going to show the recent activity. It's just going to show what's going on in your dashboard. So as people are responding, or people have, been assigned, or there's new tasks, somebody might have been added to the system, whatever it happens to be, this is just going to show a list of all the different activities. So this happens to be from our training class that we had last week. And it's just showing that this person was added to the system. There were a couple of hashtags that were added. They ran a validation on the email address to make sure that it was real. They added a new task that was created. And all that information is going to go ahead and be in your recent activities. This bar gets pretty full pretty quickly as you start to put context in here. And again, if I just go ahead and click my photo in the upper right-hand corner, it's going to show me some other tools as well. We're not going to go ahead and get into all of these different things. They're going to be in your agent onboarding. And a lot of this is because, again, people use this in different ways. The main thing we wanted to show today was that profile section. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and either click that logo or click that dashboard button. It's going to take us to the same place. And let's go ahead and take a look at this main dashboard, and then we're going to go ahead and take just a quick look at some of the buttons here on the left-hand side. And we are going to get to context here in just a second and get back to that add contact area up there at the top. So just giving you a quick overview of your dashboard here. If you have any announcements at all, they're going to show up here. These are going to be announcements from IRE, or Inside Real Estate, which is, of course, the engine behind BHHS Connect, KV Core, Bold Trail. We'll get used to all these names, I promise. So if you have any announcements, they'll be up here. This might be something like, hey, we've changed our name to Bold Trail, which is what was showing earlier in the week. You also have the ability to download that mobile app. Remember, I said that that app was available on here. So that's going to be here. And then a company cloud. These are any links that we provide you as a company that we might think are important that might need to be clicked off. Right now in our company cloud, we just have RWT Connect and a way to get back. You're going to notice that you're always going to have either some objectives or some playbooks or some training available to you right up front. So because this agent is just getting started, today's objectives are to things like build your pipeline or boost your powerful assets or generate more conversions. These are all setup items. So building our pipeline means, hey, have you imported all your contacts? We know this account is new. Beyond building your pipeline, now it's going to say things like, all right, let's generate more conversations. You haven't started any smart campaigns. Let's go ahead and get those started. These objectives will change the more you use the system. So, and it's going to be based on your activities and things like that. So just keep an eye out for those. Playbooks are going to be really important in your future. These are going to be things for you to do in order to get the system started. So again, right now, the playbooks that are available to you are gathering your sphere and working your sphere. The nice thing about this is on the gather your sphere, one of the first things it says is please import your contacts. Remember at the very beginning of training when I said we went ahead and made sure that everything talked to each other? We did go through the exercise right before we launched this of making sure that any contacts you already had in RWT Connect or were already in Sage or already in Marketing Resource were all talking to each other so that they could do a big pull into BHHS Connect. So hopefully if you have a bunch of contacts there, you're going to already see them in your contact area in here because we'll have already pulled from the Sage CRM or the Reflex product. We wanted to make sure, again, everything was really easy for you to use if you wanted to use this product. The other playbook that's available to you right now is Work Your Sphere. So basically that says, hey, once you've imported everything, what do you do with them? And that playbook is going to take you through that. And then, of course, we have our system training. At the end of this, you're going to be able to know what all of these little buttons have underneath them and also how to add a contact. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to go through the Agent Quick Start training. So this is actually going to take you step by step through everything that's available in BHHS Connect /Bold Trail /KV Core. And again, it's self-paced. So if you want to only touch on certain sections, you certainly can. But you'll want to go ahead and go through this onboarding process and go through the agent quick start so that you can see everything that's available to you in here. The nice thing about BHHS Connect is that they do have a live training calendar. They have training every day. So if there's a very specific topic that you would like to know about, you can certainly look at their live training calendar and you can sign up for a webinar. Their webinars are live, but you can also sign up for the replay if you don't have time to take it at that time as well. And then if you need more information on how to use the marketplace and the different tools that are available in there, they do have a marketplace webinar as well that you can take. This system training may change depending on how often or what you're using the system for, but most certainly this class is here just to get you ready to take the Agent Quick Start. We're going to want you all to go ahead and take that when we're finished here. If I scroll down on this dashboard again, really quickly, it's going to kind of give us our daily to-do. So these are things that are going on in the dashboard. Now, again, this agent is just getting started because, of course, we just launched this. But it's letting us know, hey, we have a new listing. This is true. And do we need to boost that property? If we go to boost property, it's going to take us over to that lead booster in the marketplace and ask us if we want to go ahead and boost the property information that's there. It's also going to let us know that we have 2 calls that we need to make. So we have 2 past due calls, older to me. And then we can also snooze those, or we can call those if we want to. We have a couple of tasks that we need to do. So all of our tasks here. So we're a little late on responding to this person who already contacted us. So that one is past due, whether it's due today. You do have a calendar available in here if you go ahead and put your 2 emails in here as well. And then it's just going to kind of give you an overview of what's going on with your business. So what's going on with your sphere of prospecting, or any leads that you have, people who are gone under contract, closed, and things like that. So this is just a dashboard that lets you know what's going on in the system. So again, this main dashboard here, announcements, these will all change depending on what you're doing in the system. And if you continue to scroll down, you're going to get that active dashboard here that has all of your different activity and to-dos in here as well. So as you'll start to notice in the system, there's lots of different places to get to the same place. So we have this dashboard that has all of our different activities and tasks in it. And remember, we had that same tasks and call button up here at the upper right-hand corner too. So it really depends on how you want to use the system. And if you're using the app, again, this information is on there as well. So let's take a look at contacts and how we add a contact really quickly. So I'm over here on the dashboard, and I'm over here on the left-hand side, and here we have our contacts. And these contacts have all been synced. So all of these contacts have actually come in from the system, from our sync. So these contacts were actually originally down in RWT Connect, and they were sent over to that Reflex system through Sage. And then all of these contacts, again, went out into the various systems, and one of those systems happens to be BHHS Connect. You're going to notice that all of your contacts are over here on the right-hand side. And then if you need to filter out your contacts for whatever reason, you can certainly do that on the left over here. So you'll have your different statuses. Hey, do I have any new leads? Who are my people in my sphere? Are they active right now? So that you can take a look and you can filter those out. These statuses are set in stone. Ooh, let's say that 5 times fast. These statuses are set in stone because they're actually used in the smart campaigns. The nice thing about a smart campaign or a drip campaign or an action plan in here is that you can set it to say, hey, anytime I add somebody to my sphere, start this campaign. So that's why these statuses are set in stone. You also have different types. So buyer, seller, renter, vendor, agent. You have hashtags. So hashtags are the same as groups or tags, depending on the other systems that you're using. So for example, if you have a group just for people you met at open houses, or groups for people in your neighborhood, or groups for people that are prospects in 2025, that's what the hashtag is. It's the same thing. If you've been used to using tags in Sage CRM, or if you're used to using groups in RWT Connect, again, hashtags, just a different term for the same kind of thing. Just as a quick note here, one of the things that did not import were the groups into BHHS Connect. So one of the first things you'll want to do is go ahead and assign people to groups depending on what they're in. Now you can certainly put people in your sphere, you can put people into your different prospects and things like that. You can make up your own hashtags. So if you have a hashtag, for example, for open house, here's one I created. This is open house. It's going to bring in anybody that is assigned to the open house that happens to be that example right there. But you can go ahead and select any of those hashtags. And it'll just show you the people under those individual hashtags. People can belong to as many hashtags as you want. So if you want to separate people out into, my personal holiday party, open house, my neighborhood, whatever it happens to be, you can assign people to as many hashtags as you want. Again, those hashtags or groups or tags, depending on whatever system we're using, come in really handy, especially when we're doing marketing where we want to send an individual email or maybe invite somebody or something like that to a very specific thing. And again, you have all of these additional filters in here too. Contact details. These are just going to bring out some behaviors and things like that as well. We're not going to go into the big behaviors in here, only because that's covered in that agent onboarding. And again, how you use the system will affect how some of this works. I'm going to go ahead and close out this filter right here. So the first question we get asked usually is, how do I add somebody to the system? There's a couple of ways to do that. Remember I said if you use that smart box at the top, one of the things that you can do is hit add contact. But we do have this giant add contact box right up here at the very top. And it's going to go ahead and just bring up a box that allows us to add a contact. I'm going to go ahead and add a contact in here. I want you to notice that we do have this little toggle that says I only have an address. If you turn this on, it's going to turn off the questions and features that it's trying to ask as if you had an email address. Obviously, if you don't have an email address, you can't sign somebody up for a smart campaign based on email. So it's going to turn some of those features off. So if you do have just a list of addresses that you're using for something like your neighborhood or something like that, you can certainly still add those people. It does support contacts without email addresses, but certainly the system works better with email addresses in there. So again, all I've done is click that add contact box and it went ahead and opened up this big window here that's going to add a contact. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put myself back in here. And I'm going to spell my name a couple of different ways again. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and add myself in here as well. Yep. My cell phone number. There we go. And do I have permission to call this person? Yes. Do I have permission to text this person? No, I do not have permission to text this person. Do I have permission to email this person? Yes. So it's going to ask you these questions for permission. And then it's going to ask you if you want to go ahead and pop in a street address. You can certainly do that as well. If you add the street address in here, it's going to try to provide a valuation in their profile. So sometimes that comes in handy. Remember, the more you fill out in the system, the more information you're going to get back. You can tag whether the system is a buyer, a seller, renter, vendor, or agent. In this case, this person is going to be a buyer and a seller. And what is their lead status? So right now they are a prospect. So maybe this person is actively working. It went ahead and added the manual ad as my lead source right here. And of course, I'm the lead owner on here. As you continue to add additional lead sources, the system does connect to additional lead sources in here. It will have a drop down so that you can see what your lead source is. But if you're just adding an individual contact, it will automatically make it a manual ad because that's obviously what it is. So it's going to give us some options here that we can either add a smart campaign automatically. We can even add our lender and CC the lender to things that are going out, and we can add notes. The nice thing about this note section here is that you can also add those hashtags. So remember I said those hashtags are the same as tags or groups depending on where you are. So let's take a look at a couple of these things. If we have a smart campaign turned on, and I'm going to show you where smart campaigns are next, they'll show up in the search bar. So for example, if we have a buyer smart campaign turned on and I just turn on buyer, it's going to show us that buyer campaign. We can also turn this on later. If we have a seller campaign turned on or a sphere campaign turned on, whatever it happens to be, we can assign them to a campaign right here. And again, remember, smart campaign is the same as a drip campaign or an action plan. Same with that lender information. And then of course you can add these notes in here. So maybe I met this person at an open house and also they are going to be a 2025 prospect. And maybe I can put the area that they're interested in. So maybe I'm going to say Virginia Beach, whatever it happens to be. I want you to notice something about these hashtags too. Notice that there's no spaces in there. It doesn't support spaces because hashtags literally have to have a single word after them in order to work. So as you're making hashtags, you can put those in there. These don't have to be hashtags that are already created. You can make them on the fly here as you're adding a contact. So we already know that open house was available in our system. We saw that when I opened the hashtags. But 2025 prospect in Virginia Beach are brand new. The nice thing is it'll go ahead and assign it to this person, but it'll also add it to our hashtag pile so that we can use it for other people if we wanted to as well. So you have your hashtags in here, but you can also just add your notes. So you can say something like interested in 3-bedroom in Great Neck, whatever that happens to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that contact. So immediately it's going to open up the contact card for this agent, or for this contact, excuse me. And it's going to show us all the different things that we can do for this particular contact. Just wanted to run through this contact card really quickly, just so you can kind of see the different things that we've already talked about and how you can edit those. So it's going to give you that main information up here at the top. And just know that anytime you want to change information or you want to see information about that person, it's going to be here in this bar right here. So we have the timeline, we have the profile details, we have some alerts, files, transactions, and tasks, and you can certainly go ahead and click any of those. You're going to notice all those little edit features here. So anytime you see that pencil, again, you can go ahead and edit it. So here I've added maybe one too many S's. I can take that out and click save. It allowed us to edit that section on here as well. And here's that information that we've already added. So we added the hashtags that are assigned to this person right now. If we wanted to add some more, we could certainly put them in this bar. It's going to give us some information about what's going on with this person. So, hey, this is when we added it. It was a manual add. What's going on with this person? They haven't done a validation run yet, which means it's going to check to make sure that Daffy Duck at WaltDisneyWorld.com actually works versus an actual email address. And of course, who it's owned by. Remember I said that all of those different client journey options were set in stone, and here's a reason why, is because as we move people through the pipeline, it may go ahead and start up that new smart campaign for us. So for example, here's that new lead. If we move them to that or an active lead, or maybe they've signed with us now and they are a client, we want to say yes. In our system, that may go ahead and start them on a completely different smart campaign. It may say, hey, take them from a prospect where we're just trying to gather information and get them interested over to a client. Turn off the prospecting smart campaign and turn on my client smart campaign for me as it moves it through the journey. Notice that these different client statuses were also available in the dashboard. So it's going to turn on different tasks and different statuses based on where you have people in the system. You can certainly see everything that they've done in the system on here. So there's that timeline for this particular person. So if they have contacted you back, or if you've added a new hashtag, or if you've started a new campaign, whatever it happens to be, it's going to be in this timeline. Things that you can do for this person are going to be over here on this right-hand side. So here's all the different things you can do. You can add a new call or add a note to this person, send an email, add a task. That'll allow us to add a task that says maybe something like call to follow up on new listing emails. And I want to make sure that I do that maybe tomorrow at, let's say, 10 a.m. And just remind myself, set up a new save search in RWT Connect. Check to make sure it's what they wanted. So we're just making a quick call here. And I'm going to go ahead and add that task. So now it'll show up on that task dashboard that I showed you, and it'll also show up in my daily email that lets me know that I have that task tomorrow. Remember I said that there were going to be some things that were available in the different sections in here that might not be turned on and might be upgrades. This is where we get to things like, hey, do you want to send a voicemail and do a voicemail drop? If I actually went to click the voicemail drop on this particular client card, it would let us know the voicemail drop is an add-on and it's an upgrade, and you can certainly see the plans and the pricing. So anytime something might be available here, but it's not actually in the system, it's going to let you know, and it's going to take you over to Marketplace. It's one of the reasons I wanted to show you that Marketplace, so that as you click through and you see certain tools that are not available to you right now, you'll know exactly where you can go and take a look for them at that Shop Marketplace tab at the top. And then, of course, any additional things that you can do for this client card are going to be down here. So we have whether they have any active campaigns, market reports, there's that listing valuation. It's just going to try to pull in some information on here on them. You can certainly add that information as well. If you wanted to set up any additional profile details, they are available in here. So I'm going to just click on this profile details tab up here at the top. And this is going to allow us to have all of those different contacts and profile details that we're missing from that initial contact card. So remember, that initial contact card is just asking for some basic information. Who are they? Where do they live? What kind of information do you have? Do you want to contact them, set them up on a campaign? If they have a lot of other information that you want to fill in, you'll want to go directly to this larger contact card here and be able to fill this information in. You can certainly see all the stuff that's available here. Home preferences, contact information, if there is a second person that needs to be on this account, primary address, if they have any social medias, things like that, all of that is going to be in here as well. You can edit that by clicking this edit details button here at the top. And it'll go ahead and activate all of this information in here. And you can certainly go ahead and add any information. If you've made any changes, just go ahead and click Save Changes. It'll go ahead and close out the card and just let you know that you've saved that contact successfully. And again, any additional information on that individual contact is going to be up here as well. So let's take a look at tasks. So we did add one. There's that call to follow up on those new listing emails right there. I'm just going to go ahead and close out this card just so that you can see how that looks now in our system. So here is that person we just added. And then they are a client. They've been assigned as a buyer and seller. And again, if I wanted to work any of these individual cards, I just have to go ahead and click on that. It'll open it up and I can certainly add, change, or assign any new information on here. All right, let's take a look. I'm going to just go back to my dashboard here real quick. There we go. I just want to take a quick look at a couple of these individual items here, just so that you can see where things are in the system. Most of this is going to be covered in that agent quick start over here, but I do want you to see what's under all the buttons. We of course covered contacts already. You do have a listing button where you can go to My Listings. And depending on how you have this set up, it's going to either bring in your listings or your office listings, things like that on here. So these are this agent's listings. If you wanted to go ahead and create any assets on this, if you wanted to use that property boost, that paid feature, you can certainly do that as well. But this is where your listings are going to be. And if you click into any of those, it's going to show you all the different options that you have. So you can send this via email or you can boost that property. This is all going to start to look very similar. So again, anything that you can edit is going to have a pencil there, and you're going to have all of these little individual kind of buttons that are available in all the different cards. This one happens to be a listing card. It's going to show you some other activity that's going on in here as well. There's some enhancements that you can make to your listings if you want to. This web and IDX button will go directly back to your dashboard. That's because all of our websites and all of our IDXs are actually hosted through RWT Connect and through that site builder program. So just know that that's going to just send you right back to that dashboard right here. If I click on this marketing button on the left-hand side, it's going to just show us all the different marketing options that are available to us. So again, some of these are turned on based on whether it was part of the BHHS Connect product or not, whether it was part of the BHHS contract that they had, or if it's something that can be added on. So some of these are going to actually be part of the program, and some of these are going to be paid options. So if you click on something, there's again that voicemail drop. If you click on that, it's going to open it up in that marketplace for you. But I did want you to see this is where your smart campaigns are right here. Okay, so there's that button for smart campaigns. Again, that's that drip campaign that you can turn on. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that manage campaigns button. And I just want to show you how this works in here. You have a couple of options for turning on campaigns. By default, your campaigns in here are not turned on. This is going to be turned on based on your onboarding and that quick start. The reason they're not turned on is because I think you've noticed in the system when I've said that a bunch of things can get sent out automatically based on the different tags and things like that. We certainly wouldn't want everything turned on, and then you add somebody as a buyer and all of a sudden they receive smart campaigns from 60 different campaigns that are available in the system. So you're going to kind of want to go through and see what's available in here and go ahead and set those up. You have a couple of things that you can do in here. So you have My Campaigns, you have a system library, and you have templates. One of the advanced features that you'll find in here is that you can also add a campaign that somebody else built. So for those of you who are in the Forever Agent coaching, you may have some Forever Agent campaigns that could actually be turned on. If they gave you the campaign key, you'll understand that if you know what it is. So if you have one of those, you can also turn those on in here as well by using that key from something somebody else created. If you like a campaign and you want to go ahead and turn it on, you just slide this little button over right here. So for example, this one is the core active buyer. So what this has in it is a default for buyer leads with an active status. It's for a buyer. And what does it contain? It contains just a single task, which is a one touch. So it just says that, hey, if I add somebody to the system and they're an active buyer, I want this task assigned to them. And you can see what that task is and what's available in a campaign by just clicking on it. So this one says the lead has responded. It's basically just saying, hey, you need to call this person because the lead has responded, or you need to respond to them in some way. If you want to view any specifics, you can certainly go ahead and click this view button right here, and that'll be the same throughout the whole system. Anytime you need to go back, you can use this little button up here that says all my campaigns. It'll take you right back to that campaign window in here as well. You'll notice that some of the things have different tasks or emails. So like this one is for a closed listing. So this one says create a call, create a task, and send some emails, whether it's a buyer or seller that has closed. And these are the different campaign actions that are available under here. So this can be a task that says, hey, what are we doing with this person? So this person closed. This says past clients want to know if houses are hitting the market around them. What are they doing? So here's how we set up a specific closed property search. This one says that it's a phone call that comes in on day 14 after assigning somebody as closed that says, check in with your past clients, see how things are going. Can we help them in any way? That goes up on your call list. There's a couple of other emails that are going to go out in here. There's a couple of tasks that are available in here. Things like after 1 year, do you want to go ahead and send them a CMA or follow up? This would be a great opportunity to follow up with that BMA on here as well. So if we wanted to go ahead again and turn that on, we could certainly do that by just hitting that slider right here. And it'll ask us if we want to turn it on. It'll be available for us to assign to anybody in our system. In addition to the My Campaigns, you also have the system library. And these are going to be lots and lots of other campaigns that you can use as well. And again, everybody's going to use this a little bit differently. But if you like a particular campaign and you want to go ahead and use it, you can certainly add it to your library. And then it'll show up under your My Campaign section, and you can go ahead and turn that on. You can make sure that it's something you want to use. In addition to the marketing tab, again, there's lots of different tools that are available under here. Most of the time when they say learn more, it's available from the marketplace only. But there are other options here. Last thing that we're going to talk about today right here is this vitals section. Vitals is a nice way to just say reports. So this is going to give you the option of seeing what's available to you in the system and what's going on. So it's going to let you know how are things doing from various sources. Are certain hashtags doing really well or getting really active? It's going to let you know if you have any system activity, if certain emails have done really well or certain messages have done really well, things like that. Of course, we'll want to use this if there's messaging that's going out or a campaign that's going out that's working great. Certainly you may want to do more of it. And if there's a campaign that's maybe not performing as well as you had hoped it would in your smart campaigns, maybe you turn that off and turn them on to something else, or maybe you make some adjustments and things like that. So that reporting is just going to give you the different reports on both your pipeline and how your sources are doing, how your campaigns are doing, and things like that. So again, we've gone over kind of the basics of BHHS Connect and where you can find things. Your next step is going to make sure that you go ahead and fill out your user profile in BHHS Connect and Resource Center. But this whole class was to really get you prepared for this Agent Quick Start training right here. You'll want to go ahead and sign in and get into the Agent Quick Start. It's going to know who you are based on how you log in. And you can go ahead and begin that course. And you can use the email address that's in the system on here, and it's going to go ahead and put you through to that Bold Trail Agent Quick Start. It'll take you through all of the options and all of the onboarding that's available to you. And that way you can take a look at everything that's available in the system and get more details about it. So, did anybody have any additional questions?
Kristen, there's a question in the chat from Darlene Gaines with regards to the closed listings being included in the property listings. Can you address that?
Yep, I just went there right now. If I click on listings, if I go to the MLS listings, it'll give me my active. And if I go to just sold, it is bringing in my just solds. And I happen to know this is a co-broke listing. So I know that it's also bringing in co-brokes. Any additional questions? I know we went through a lot today, but hopefully we've been able to give you an overview on this. All right, if there's no additional questions, we'll go ahead and let you go today. Hopefully you all have a very successful week. You can go ahead and take a look at this training probably tomorrow in the training library if you want to go ahead and review it one more time. But again, do make sure that you log in and go through that agent quick start, which is what this training was preparing you for. And that way you can learn how to use this thing for yourself and for all the little different options that you can turn on.